Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Whatever, Whenever, the show where we talk about whatever we want, whenever we want. I am Robin.
And I'm the Mentok, the prophet, the whenever of this situation.
And I'm the Whatever. And once again, today we have a special guest. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, I wouldn't say that I'm special, unless we're talking about specially educated. But hi, I'm Hellkrai. Or hello again, I'm Hellkrai.
Yes. This friend
This would be your first time with us, so you're special, but if you come back again, we would totally just not give you the special treatment.
Yeah.
So obviously I also have to say hello again, even though it's the first time most people have ever heard me.
Yes. So
you have quite the podcast voice, though. I'll give you that.
Oh yeah, he
Thank
does
you.
for sure. He's got like the
For sure.
He's got the podcast set up. His lighting is the Justin Wayne mood lightings. He's got the whole shebang.
Actually, Robin, I have an idea. Like, after this podcast, let's just blindside the audience and have Hellkrai read some inappropriate Sonic fanfic. Just no introduction. He just opens it up and just starts reading.
Just
100% down.
We should have that be episode 69.
Episode 69, yes. You heard it here first. He's down. So you guys will... Maybe it won't be 69, but you guys will never expect it.
Yeah, it's episode 69 will either be Hellkrai and only Hellkrai reading out Sonic erotic fanfiction, or we'll get a porn guest on. I don't know.
Oh, you're going to have Project Melody on?
I would love to have Project Melody on. That would be hilarious.
Is she still around? I haven't heard from her in a while. Is she retired?
Yeah, she's still doing stuff. She's still streaming.
I love how she has like a A side and a B side, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
It's like
Actually, it's kind of funny because she does that, and also, so I like listening to like really obscure pop, and I love listening to really bad anime rap. It's just something I absolutely love. Anyways,
wait, are we talking like
year,
intros, like rap intros?
No, like full on songs.
Oh no.
Some of my favorite artists aren't bad, but like Hentai Dude, he's a bro.
Oh,
I
yes.
used to play Overwatch with him. He's amazing.
Yes.
Anime 2D guy.
Oh yeah, and then like 2D Kai is also just amazing. Those guys are the good ones, and then there's ones like I don't want to name anyone, but there are others that aren't so good. One of them, I actually will name somebody. I think it's OVU or something. Anyways, they just make the most degenerate rap anime shit ever, and it's just funny, and I love it. Regardless, what this was all about was in 2020 there was this other VTuber person that had like a 3D model called Waifu Baby. YFU Baby. Her music's pretty good. She's fine. But she does the same thing Melody does, where she has like one model that's like her normal and then one that's her alt, where it's just like colored different. And I just think it's funny that there's like more than one of those people that do that.
Yeah.
There's a niche for this stuff. You know what I mean?
This is probably this is probably like the worst time for me to remember that my little brother subscribed to this channel.
Oh no.
As we
Little
talk
brother.
about Project Melody and degenerate weeb rap.
Yeah.
Close your ears, brother.
Okay. Well, Hellkrai, what do you do in general, I guess, and what have you been working on as of late?
Man, I do things sometimes, and I say that because that's just what my YouTube banner says. I just love doing a lot of things. For a long time, I used to be a streamer, but now I don't do that because it's lame. I might get back to doing it sometime soon. Fingers crossed. I do have a podcast that I'm working on.
Ooh, nice.
But for what people can actually see right now, I have a YouTube series where I talk about the story of Y2K that a lot of people seem to not really pick up on.
Yes.
I even had Robin guest star doing a voice on that, and he even drew a little character.
Yeah, I
that
drew.
Pops up in
Look
there.
at that.
Yeah, it's episode 2 for those of you who are interested. I voiced a post on onism.net or .com or whatever the URL is, and that post comes from none other than Alex himself. So,
Who we've had on this podcast before.
No, we haven't had him yet.
Wait, not the actual character.
No, we haven't had the actual character. We've had Andrew.
We've had the creators. Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Don't get the self-insert meme in it.
That's where I was going with it.
Yeah,
but,
cut that part.
know.
Cut that part.
Cut that part out.
Now leave that part of me saying cut that part in, because then it's funny.
Yes.
Actually, Ricky, cut the whole podcast out.
just have it be a black screen for 50 minutes and then continue with the rest of the podcast.
That's how we get that ad revenue, bro.
Yeah.
That's
Don't
it.
actually do that though, because then it will completely destroy our viewer retention.
But
Man
yeah,
has a
Robin voiced Alex for me, and then I had some other friends from the Yick fan community voice other characters. And then I had an idea as I was editing, and I was like, there's this one thing one of these reviewers said, and I say one thing, but actually like 4 of them said the same thing. And I was like, man, it would be really funny if, like, when I mentioned this in the script, I just pop up a picture of one of them, and he has like this whole like persona art style that he's like mimicking.
Yeah.
And I want to have like the persona text box pop up, and I was like, okay, but I don't want to just have like his avatar pop up. I have to do something funnier than that.
Yeah.
And I was looking through my friends list, and I was like, Robin just got a drawing tablet. What if I have him draw a Wojak of this person?
And that's what I did. He sent me like the Wojak of the guy pointing, and I just semi-traced over that and like drew his like avatar. And it took me like about an hour to do it because I was still getting used to my tablet at the time. But
Yeah. It turned out really well. Like, actually.
We're a big fan of that meme around here.
Yes, that was actually the thumbnail of like our 4th episode. I think was Ricky drew you and me like as the pointing Wojats.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm like also making a game and sometimes post artwork on Twitter. I don't know. I do a lot of things.
Yes.
So I was gonna ask, like, how's the YouTube process for you going?
Ooh, way better than I expected, honestly. So I could talk about like the process of how I actually make these videos. So what I do is I've played this game for over 600 hours, right?
Holy
And
shit.
I've had conversations with people on the Discord for like 3 years now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I've explained this to other people. Like, some of these videos I've already basically made and had these conversations with other people about things I've noticed about the story over these past 2-3 years. And
Right.
So what I do is I go, okay, this video... Well, first off, I was like, okay, I kind of want to go in order of like how the game progresses, because I think like it shows you better how everything feeds into everything else. But I start off and I'm like, okay, here's the first chapter. What can I talk about here? Like, what is clearly shown here that I can kind of work up my way into having a conversation about? And I pick that topic, and then I just basically take my phone. I open a Google Drive document. I go and press the little microphone on my keyboard and just start talking. And I'm like, okay, so here's the thing I want to talk about. Okay, and then like, oh, if this line I don't really know, I just kind of like half say it, and then I'll look it up later. And then I just go and revise it all. And it got to the point that I've planned out the 16 videos I want to do on the game.
Yeah. Which...
And I have scripts written up to like the 5th episode right now. I was actually planning on writing more today before Robin messaged me.
Yeah. Yeah. For those of you who don't know, I obviously you don't know because we haven't mentioned it up to this point. We literally didn't know what to talk about today for the podcast, and I was just immediately like, "Oh, I wonder if Hellkrai wants to come record." So yeah, that was like a process of 5 minutes.
Yeah, this is a highly improv podcast.
Yes.
Normally, Robin and I have like general topics, but like we just recorded yesterday, so I think we blew our load, for lack of better expression.
Yeah, we went all out talking about Sonic 2, and then we were just kind of like, we got to today, and we were like, what is there to talk about? I'm not really interested in anything.
Oh, the movie? It was pretty good.
Yeah, it was a really good movie. We went into spoilers and stuff on it yesterday too. So that's
considering
cool.
like Twitter all like committed to spoilers at the same time.
Yeah,
we're getting to it kind of late.
People are just posting like spoiler clips, and it's like, how do you even get this? It's not on like Blu-ray yet or anything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm usually pretty available, so I'm glad to hop on, talk about, and I'm pretty good at vamping for a while, so this is going to be a very entertaining podcast for people.
Yeah.
So, like, the reason I asked about your YouTube process, because I don't tend to run into a lot of fellow YouTubers. I actually have a channel where I dive into. At this point, it's a Sonic channel. Like, I didn't even know if that was originally my intention. Oh, you are? Okay, so there you go. Okay, I'm a celebrity in these parts. No, just kidding. I appreciate the sub, but like, I think like when the video comes out, I look like 20 times more like prepared than I actually am. And I like severely need to get into like the backlog process, because the moment that I have something to do, or if I have to fly away from like my computer and stuff, it's a wrap. I don't know how I'm going to put out a video in that context. So it's just interesting to get an idea of like how you work things out, and turning on the microphone and just saying things. That's how I used to do things. I never used to like write scripts. And
well, so there's a few things I want to say. So there was a moment where there was this random Twitter meme that popped up. It was the Real Rock FM. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I remember.
It got kind of popular for a moment, and I thought, well, a lot of people say I have like a radio voice. What if I just fucking do that meme? And then I found some like really funny sound effects, or ones that I thought were really funny. I will say, I think maybe my performance isn't as great as other people's on it, but I think my editing was a lot better. And I think like the sound effects I chose were way funnier. But I put that out, and it got a lot of traction, and it's just a dumb video. And then I thought, this was really easy. Like I could pump out 2 of these a day if I really wanted to.
Yeah.
And so I hit up my friends, and I was like, hey, if you see anything like this that you think would be funny if I just like said, give them to me. And people, well, they all threw some at me, and I picked a couple of them that I thought I could do something really funny with. And after I had like a couple of those queued up to pop up in a few days of each other, I was like, I got obsessed with this idea of having a backlog of content. I was like, that is so cool. It feels so good to know I don't have to work right now, that something's coming out anyway,
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like I feel like I can do bigger things now because I'm not focused on just grinding and putting out whatever.
Right.
So I developed a process for making the videos the way that I make them right now. So it was okay, I got to kind of figure out what I'm going to say in the video. And then I try to get as many of these rough drafts written. And then later I'm going to go and like compare and put the actual game, put in the things that I wanted to say. Maybe button up a little things. Oh, I've repeated myself too many times here. Okay, that looks good enough. Okay, I'm going to revise this one more time before I record it, just to see if there's anything else that will make recording it bad. And I break it up into sentences. So, like, I record sentence by sentence each thing. So that way I know that I'm, like, it makes it easier to edit it, frankly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I can also
I've never actually thought of that. That's fascinating, by the way.
I can also look through it and see, like, voice lines, because some lines in the game aren't voiced. And I think it would be good to have other people voice those, so then I can approach those people. And the sooner that I get to that, like I have voice lines recorded for episode 5, and I've only released the second episode.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, because I planned so far ahead, I can do that. I'm at the point now that I'm reaching out to somebody who makes comics to see if they can help me storyboard like animatics for episode 3. Because I have 2 weeks basically to finish episode 3. I have this time, this, gap in production that I can actually do that because I've so far ahead in everything else. So it's like I see that and I'm like, look, I can just keep making these better and better because I'm planning them out ahead of time. And it really is helpful. I definitely recommend it. If you need help figuring out how to do that, I would be glad to help you.
That'd be great. I think we can possibly talk offline about that, because I think the biggest thing for me, like I could write up a script within a couple of hours or so. Like there's definitely some research involved, especially if I'm less versed on whatever the topic is.
Yeah.
But once that script is done, I can do that and pretty much record it, and maybe that process would take 3.5 hours, right, total. The
Sure.
long part is the editing. And
Okay.
so once I'm like sitting here and I'm committed to editing, once I'm done with it, it's time to upload. And I would love to like have kind of a backlog of that. And I think the only way for me to get ahead of that is just to have like maybe 2 other editors just like stockpile like a set of videos, especially like the Origin Oracle series I'm doing. And then that way I've caught up to that, and then I can proceed as normal. So now I'm way ahead of that, and I can't imagine like the amount of space and breath I would have in that moment. So so I totally agree with you, and I think it's important for like a lot of YouTubers to get ahead of that. Don't be like me. It will give you a sense of peace, in my opinion.
Yeah. So what I'd say about your process, you seem to have editing seems to be like you're saying that's the big barrier for you.
Yeah.
For me, my editing is so I don't know. I'd almost say I made it so straightforward. So like I break it up into chunks. Like I have the script writing part, like I said, and then like in research, when I'm doing research to like correct things in my script or whatever, at that point is when I'm getting like gameplay footage, or if I need any kind of specific pictures, or if I needed to reach out to artists to draw something, that point feeds right into editing, because now I don't have to look for it. I have it all in one place.
Right.
Sometimes when I'm in the middle of editing, I'll think of a meme like I did with Robin here, and I'll be like, okay, I need to make this meme because this would be really funny. And usually I try to keep them very minimal, because it's like I don't feel like editing is the time to like really make a lot of big changes. It's to make kind of smaller changes that keep everything together. Because what I do is basically from the beginning I have an idea of what the video is going to be like, and then towards the end it's basically the same video, but maybe with some extra stuff that I added in along the way.
I think that those little bells and whistles are what brings it together too, right? You have that initial vision, and for example, on my side, if I can find like an old commercial for the game I'm talking about, like that adds like a nice little pizzazz. Or if I'm talking about a specific console, just kind of showing like, how wacky the 90s were and things like that, just as like an added thing. It's really cool,
For sure.
And it really brings the product together. So I we're on the same page there too.
Yeah, I'm actually friends with I don't know if you know him, Chase Face.
I've heard of that. Yes, I've heard of this.
Yeah, I've talked with him and some of his other friends about this too, because there's another thing that happens where a lot of people get really caught up on like keep making like, oh, I want to add all this to the video and whatever, right? And it kind of keeps like ballooning and whatever, and it's like at some point you have to release the video,
Yeah, like that's a problem that I've had a lot of times with projects in the past as well. Like there's just been like even recently some like RPG Maker games that I've been wanting to make, I've had to put like on the back burner and on hold because they just keep ballooning out of like my own grasp, and I've had to just put on hold and be like, I can't work on this right now. I don't have the experience, I don't have the talent, I don't have the money to do all of this stuff, so it's just going on the back burner, which, I mean, it sucks, but it's important to recognize when you're like losing control of a project, you know? And, like, and at some point it's either got to go on the back burner or you have to release it in the state that you don't want to release it in. And you know, sometimes it's, as much as it sucks, it is better to just scrap everything you've done so far and redo it from scratch. Like,
oftentimes if you get stuck on it and you just like focus too much on over editing or making this like, oh, this is going to be the best video, those often, in my experience, tend to be like the worst performing videos. And it's like, it's so soul crushing. It's just like, all right, well, back to the drawing board, and you just get to the next video, you know. But like some of my favorite videos that I've made are like mostly those over edited, took me over like 2 weeks to finish. I don't know why I haven't put this out yet, you know, that type of thing. So honestly, just save yourself the mental torture, and just know when to start putting things out or scrap it. You know, if you don't feel comfortable with it, set it aside for later. Start a new project. That's kind of what I've done from now on.
Yeah, and there's something that I'm like really passionate about telling people, where it's like you're allowed to have mistakes in your like videos or any of your artwork that you're doing. Like, I know. For example, with my last video, there's a small error at the beginning where the text on screen flashes in the way it's not supposed to. And then the music selection for the video was extremely lazy and doesn't really like make the video flow any better than it would if I just didn't have any music. But I'd rather have that than not release the video and then spend like another week trying to figure it out. I'd rather have that other week spent towards trying to make the next video better. And part of it is also, I do plan on going back through, taking all of these scripts, revising them one last time, and then making it a huge video. But, you know, it's still like, some of these errors, some of these things I probably should have done better. I should just keep that in mind for the next one, and then keep trying to get better that way.
Right. So I totally agree with the error thing, by the way. You know, don't fully worry about that. I cannot speak for the Y2K community, but I deal with one of the most toxic universes in our universe.
Oh yeah.
And
sure.
These guys love to call out the smallest things. They'll sit there and watch something for 59 minutes and then say, hey, actually, this is so-and-so and so-and-so. Yeah. And, you're going to have those comments, but, like, honestly, it's very easy for me to ignore those. And as a creator, I think you should ignore them, too, especially when those people are wrong.
Yeah.
I love those people who are so confident about being wrong. It's like, actually, Sonic started in 1993. Why would you state that here?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you can just move on. But errors are fine, and you can address them in, like, a description or a comment below, that kind of thing.
Speaking of comments, I think earlier, before even Hellkrai joined the call, you pointed out one that you got this morning that I thought was funny and kind of perfectly lines up with what you're talking about. I don't know if you want to share that one or not.
Yeah, why not? Because I've got...
I have call you
skin,
out.
Okay?
This is your shit.
I have thick skin, okay? I've seen some hateful comments in there. I've heard people call me, like, you know, some of the worst things ever. Like, YouTube does a good job, like, blocking those and stuff. But sometimes
they
you get
are
curious.
Sonic fans.
Yeah. It's not only is it Sonic fans, but it's also the fact that I think you're black, so obviously you're going to have, like, racists...
Robin, surprisingly, there has been no racist comments.
Really? That is genuinely surprising.
Shockingly, there has, like, I Honestly, that's how I know I haven't made it yet. I need to up the subscribers.
know
when I
you
get that
haven't-
first.
That's
If they
honestly-
gave you shit for being black, then they'd also have to hate Jaleel White. And nobody can do that.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's both funny and kind of sad that your measurement of knowing that you haven't truly made it is that no one in your YouTube comments is being racist towards you.
That when they are being racist, that means they have literally nothing left to go for.
Yeah.
And that's how I know. That's that marker.
Yeah.
Anyway. So I've had that as an inside joke for a very long time.
That's fair.
Amongst my friends, but yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so just for the record, I have thick skin. I've seen people call it, they'll say, I hate you. This is really dumb content. I can't stand this, whatever. Very, easy, hateful comments to put out there. And those don't get under my skin. I never reply to them. I think YouTube, for the most part, even blocks those comments. Other people are actually, those kind of comments are annoying, but I don't tend to reply to them either. If someone legitimately says, hey, this is wrong, you missed this and you missed that, I like comments like that because I can correct myself and, account for it in an additional video or in the comment section.
Yeah, I think I've even made some of those comments before when you were talking about Archie stuff when you first started getting into it and didn't really know a whole lot.
Yeah.
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 And that's okay, so we're coming full circle with this, right?
Yeah.
'Cause that's the beauty of it. I was not someone who was engaged in the Archie comics. I didn't go to the store and beg my parents to get me every Archie comic because it's a very long running series. So by the time I got older, I didn't really care to read it because there's just so much had gone by, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I got a comment earlier today on one of my videos because in the early phases of these, I was saying, there's so much here, and I've heard so many weird things about this comic that I don't really want to read this, but we're gonna go through all of this. We're gonna dissect all of the versions of these characters. So that's what I used to say in very early videos when I started doing this segment, and I got one today that says the following. Can't really take anyone seriously that says they're a Sonic fan who hasn't read the comics. Those comics came out during Sonic's golden age, and if you're not old enough to have read them back then, finding out that there's a Sonic comic with years of material to read seems like something that would thrill any fan. As far as the lore and story, the Archie comic is its own universe, so even if all the games had consistent lore, the comics wouldn't be required reading material. But again, I don't know why you wouldn't want to read them. The real comics are hard to find, even the later collected volumes, but you can easily read them online for free. And I'm not gonna call out this person, so
Yeah.
I'll be nice. I could easily say this person's screen name, and I'm not going to. So
Yeah.
I do have to appreciate that you said it in a British tone.
Yes, I appreciate
The British are the
that as
worst.
I realized today when I read that I cannot stand comments like that.
Yeah.
Because I know what I've experienced for myself. I've been a Sonic fan since I was 3 years old, right? And
So,
I'm in my early 30s right now. I was there from the beginning.
Yeah.
And for someone to say, "Oh, I can't take anyone seriously that says they're a Sonic fan," and I never really say that explicitly in these videos anyway, so I don't know where he got that from. But number two, I am a Sonic fan, and I am educating other fans who may be new to the series, or showing them things that they may not have known that they'd be interested in, and just kind of spreading awareness, right? So the fact that I had a comment like that, that's one of the things that upsets me, more so than any hateful comment that I've received. So my response was thus. This comment is a poor take and comes off highly condescending. If you're a Sonic fan, you shouldn't question what brings other fans to the series, but embrace the character along with other fans. Here you sound like you're gatekeeping. My first game was Sonic 2 on release, and I haven't missed a game since. Many years later, I'm finally taking a look at the Archie comics and sharing my experience of different versions of these characters with other Sonic fans, including new fans who don't know about them. But I also don't have to be thrilled about every piece of Sonic media in existence to be a fan. I have to call this out. I appreciate the suggestions, but I've already been reading them online and seen.
Yeah.
So there's going to be the occasional comment that really gets to you personally. And like, honestly, as long as you're not like raging and like insulting these people, it's okay to reply. But like, you know, some people just deserve to have their shit called out.
Yeah. And like,
True.
yeah, like some people like are just so high and mighty that they like, it like, honestly, it annoys me. It frustrates me even to like see some people, especially like the people who do like hour-long video essays where they don't know what the fuck they're talking about at all. Hellkrai already knows the person I'm thinking of when I say this. Like, they just don't know what they're talking about at all, and they're just acting like a pompous douchebag and like using the same 20 clips as comedy instead of trying to be creative themselves and come up with their own jokes. It annoys me. It frustrates me to no end. Because it's like
there is a lot of low effort stuff like that on YouTube too for like every franchise.
Yeah, and the worst,
especially like the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah,
people love to like, oh, this was the worst experience, and I'll explain why. And it's like 2 hours long.
If I ever like have to see someone unironically say the phrase like SJW Marvel out loud, I'm going to fucking lose my goddamn mind because I've
they're calling
it.
Because the now I'm gonna say SU now.
I'm gonna say SUW DCU.
But the thing is, they
and like
no, but yeah, there's it's surprising how much low effort content and how much it gets traction.
Yeah,
and it's like every now and then I do think I'm like, man, maybe I should just be making garbage. Like,
yeah, like even
and then I go, oh no, I can't do that.
Yeah, like
it gets traction mainly because it's shock value. It's like, oh, like, this movie was absolute garbage.
Yeah, like,
and then people are like, what? I love that movie. Fuck this guy. And then they'll click, and that's kind of like how you get people to click. It's just like this hot take or whatever.
Or they try and
I don't think it's just like shock value. I think it's also like confirmation bias.
Yeah, it's like
a lot of people are trying to find something that like reinforces their opinion, and then they go, okay, let me engage with this. Oh, this just says it's bad too.
Yeah.
And like you can find people on Twitter that like are creating their own in group of people or whatever,
their own,
and they all just share the same opinions, and then they move over to YouTube, and it's like, oh, they just put up their first video and it's got like 2,000 views. Well, yeah, you're just saying everything you've already said before.
Yeah, I'm like 90% sure that confirmation bias is why people like Hero Hey, the quartering, fucking
fuck
all
Hero
those.
Hey.
Yeah, honestly, fuck that.
Wait,
guy.
Fuck the quartering.
Hold on. This is the first time I could say this publicly. Fuck Hero Hey.
And normally we don't say stuff like that on like podcasts. We're like very like chill and just like neutral about things, but
these like low quality like clickbait like dumbasses who just say dumb shit and get away with saying dumb shit, it just pisses all three of us off. Like,
well, yeah, that's why you should subscribe to Hellkrai, because I say the dumb shit you don't want to hear.
I think it's very easy to get clicks and views if you like bash anything woke or SJW.
Yeah, especially
like if you like if I've seen if you put like, the left is doing this to themselves or like something as your title, you're gonna get clicks, and like it's like this huge like echo chamber side of YouTube.
Yeah.
That has like no in between or no chill.
Yeah. It's this,
and that's what.
Yeah, it's like I can speak from experience because I used to be like an idiot who religiously watched people like Sargon of Akkad, for example, like back when I was in high school. So like I can speak for experience when I say that most of these people just say the exact same shit. They don't have their own thoughts. They just repeat what their friends on YouTube say. And
right.
They just speak garbage. It's nonsense. It's terrible.
Did you know that Mario's the problem a communist?
Too? Like, yeah, right. I think the problem is that no one really like thinks for themselves these days. They feel I agree with this person, I have to agree with everything that person says.
YouTube man, I like say thing, so that thing he say is now my opinion.
Right. I've seen people both sides of the fence that like, okay, I agree with what you're saying there, and I totally disagree with what you're saying, and that's technically how you're supposed to conduct life. But there's a lot of people out there that just want to be told what is right and what's wrong, and hence you get all these bandwagonists in whatever direction.
Yeah, and I mean I think part of it might be like I think part of it is that like all those people are like a vocal minority or something, but like part of me is like, yeah, that's probably not true. I don't know. It's just the way the internet works. It's like very hard to tell. Like,
yeah, what's a small group of people that are loud, and what's just a group of people?
Yeah, like
they're basically the same thing at this point.
Yeah, they're basically the same thing. It's hard to tell if like one's a small group of people making a lot of noise, or if it's just a group of people making noise.
Or if it's just one person.
Yeah, or if it's just one person with 70 alternate accounts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Ridiculous. That's the same thing as going for like do you guys know Merryweather Comets? I know that you do, Hellkrai.
Oh yeah.
No.
He's the guy who like did all of those like meme girl comments, but then he like kind of is rebranding to do more serious stuff as of late. So like Internet Explorer Chan and all that.
Oh, those things. Yes. Okay, so I know about those.
Yeah, he put out a Twitlonger, I think like last night or something. Like it was I think kind of stupidly titled "Addressing the Haters" or something, which if I were him I wouldn't have worded it like that, but it's basically just him talking about how he's sick of like people like spreading these like rumors about how he's like an Ivy League like trust fund kid when he's actually like he's from Denmark and he's like poor. He's worked sales his entire life. His mom lost everything to immigrate to Denmark to marry his dad, and it's like the fact that he's been doing these comments and stuff for a living has been like a stroke of luck and like the highlight of his life. And then also like people are saying like that he should kill himself for making like these meme comments and stuff, and like just being nasty to him in general and stuff, and it's just genuinely awful. And it's like only seems to be Twitter is like the platform that like gives him that kind of feedback the most, it's weird.
I think there's just no winning.
It used to be Tumblr, and then no, but other sites have like cracked down on that a bit. Like, YouTube has its way of feeding out those kind of comments, so then you don't see them there.
Yeah.
And because he posts pictures mostly, he definitely has more traction on something like Twitter or Instagram, where a lot more people are going to see it, interact with it, and whatever. But yeah, it's mostly children, though. Like, that's the most annoying thing.
Yeah.
That's what I say all the time. It's like, kids that just want to be edgy in a sense.
Yeah, they're trying to be edgy. They're trying to look cool. They're hipsters. They're chinibio, that kind of shit.
Hipster culture is so deeply ingrained in our society. Like a lot of people still think of hipsters as like the people with the scarves, drinking Starbucks and stuff, and wearing fedoras and fake glasses. No, like you don't have to do all that to be a hipster. You just have to be a hipster.
You just have to say, actually, you might be too young to remember the Sonic comics, but they're easily available online for your perusal. While I do a whole segment on the Archie comic in the video that they're literally watching.
Yeah.
So, oh my god. How insufferable.
Honestly, yeah. I hate to drag it back to Y2K again, but I'm very interested in seeing Mentok like play that game for the first time, just to see if he understands from the get-go that you're not supposed to like Alex.
Yeah,
but
so
he's so
like
funny and charming. Like, why wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, my favorite.
I feel like at the end of it, I'd just be totally different like message from everybody else. Like, this guy is super cool. I love him.
if you walk away from the game thinking that Alex is cool, first of all, you're me from 2019, which is a very big problem. Second of all, you are not looking at the game right, in my opinion.
Well, I'm going in blind. I know nothing about it. I mean, I've watched a couple of critique videos back in 2018, I think.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, like in that era, there was a time where I literally had nothing to do.
Yeah.
So I was binging
Fair
a
enough.
lot of YouTube, and I think that's when I started seeing like those types of hit pieces that have become popular, especially in like gaming. Anytime that there's like a flop game, there's always someone out there that needs to tear that game and the developer to shreds.
Yeah, like I think it started with Sonic 06 back in the day, and then it kind of just evolved into whatever game gets popular and doesn't.
People still have not let the Sonic 06 thing go,
Let
and
it
that's
go.
like
It's
that's wild to me. It's almost been 20 years.
There are worse games.
can't even buy the
Let
game
it go. There are
So,
worse games
speaking
out
of
there.
that, man, the things that people say about Balan Wonderland or Wonder World.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's exactly who I was thinking of too. Like,
yes,
'cause,
I was thinking
like,
that too.
I was in a Discord server, and I had said before the Yuji Naka stuff came out, I was like, this isn't Yuji Naka's fault. This is Square. They have a history of doing this. And they're like, no, but he was the director. It's his fault. I'm like, no. There's people above him that make decisions, dude. Like, no, that's not how it works. And then he comes out and says, yo, they just took me off the project and then released the game 6 months later. And I'm like, hey, look, it's not Square's fault. Or it's not Yuji Naka's fault. It's Square's fault. They literally threw him off the project to push out a game. And they're like, no, you're dumb. And then now, he apologizes for how Balan was at release. He was like, I wish it was a better game. I failed. I wish I could have done better. And then what does Square Enix post the other day? They go, no, we think Balan is still a viable product.
What are you fucking? This is another thing that pisses me off is that everyone like, it doesn't even have to be a game either. If it like turns out bad or people don't like it, they blame the director and only the director because he's the one that
Except for Justice League.
Yeah, except for Justice League. Justice League is like the one exception to the rule, I guess.
Yeah.
But
I think it was because it changed directors, didn't it?
well, yeah, it's because it changed directors towards the end, and Joss Whedon came in, and Joss Whedon is Joss Whedon, and people don't like Joss Whedon because he's Joss Whedon. Have I said his name
fully
enough
canceled
times?
now?
Yeah, have I said his name enough times to?
Yeah, enough times for us to get demonetized. Even though we're not really monetized anyway, but still.
But yeah,
I'm just used to saying that.
yeah. But yeah, like it's aside from like Justice League, it's like anytime like something fails, people are like, okay, so the director is the reason. The director is the only person who worked on this and is the only person who did anything, so it's all their fault. When it's no, there's a writing team, there's like programmers, developers, cinematographers, all that kind of stuff. It's a whole producers, publishers. There's a whole like bureaucracy, for lack of a better term, to all this stuff.
Right.
You can't just blame it all on one person and say that's the reason it's wrong. Most likely, more often than not, it's usually the company or the publishers or the producers forcing stuff in where it doesn't belong that like leads a project to fail or go downhill, you know? Or
So,
or like some other stuff behind the scenes. Maybe there was like some infighting amongst the team. It's not just one person. It's a series of problems, but everyone is so like always looking for a scapegoat to something that they just go, oh, it's clearly the director who is the problem, or one writer, or one programmer, or something, and it's ridiculous, and I hate seeing that.
To like riff off of that too, like I kind of look back to like the PS2 era as like this happy medium where there was like mid-level games that were not this huge gamble that every studio had to make. Because I feel like we're in an age where either it's an indie game or it's like a AAA game, and if it doesn't meet expectations, somebody's gonna get fucked.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, you know, with all the innovation that's come out of gaming and like this level of graphics that are expected out of like a project. I mean, you know, there's a lot of interesting art styles that are out there, but games take a lot more work than they used to, and I think that the PS2 era was that happy medium where people were churning out like quality games but also it didn't take very long to create them. And now we're in a space where it takes forever to make a game. So people are putting out these concept trailers, and we gotta wait 10 years for a game to come out now. Square Enix is notorious for this.
Yes.
So it's ironic to me that they would rush this out, considering I think it's an easier product than, let's say, Final Fantasy VII Part 2 remake, which we haven't heard heads or tails of for a long time. And they would remove him from the project as well. I heard he's not very, like, the easiest person to work with, but, like, I think Yuji Naka has a very tragic tale behind him. And I was sad to see it, and I was sad to see YouTubers who were never had the intention of buying the game in the first place go to YouTube to go tear it apart, because it was like the scapegoat of the gaming world in that moment. Like, this is what we got to focus our attention on and bash.
Yeah, and
even though I didn't plan on playing this game whatsoever.
And what sucks is that even people that I respect, like, in a way, I don't put a whole lot of respect on them because they're just YouTubers and stuff. But like, even people that I respect, like Alpharad and stuff, still did like a video like, I played Balan Wonderworld, so you don't have to, and all that kind of dumb stuff. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
that's YouTube,
especially tragic because they all focus on that game. And we don't talk about the game that like really needs the hate, like Chocobo GP.
Yes.
Yes.
Here I am setting my soapbox down to complain about Chocobo GP because I was genuinely excited for Chocobo GP.
I saw that trailer. I'm like, oh my god, a Final Fantasy Mario Kart? Let's go.
Yeah,
and then
it comes out. It's a $60 gacha machine.
So, like, back in the day, on the PS1, there was this game called Chocobo Racing, and it's okay. But I love kart racers. I used to, like, I have hundreds of hours in Mario Kart 8, not playing multiplayer. Just playing time trials and single player.
Jeez.
So I fucking love kart racers. And anyway, so I see Chocobo GP, I'm like, yo, this is going to be sick. Like, they could do so much with this. And like, even when they're like showing off some of the gameplay, it's like, oh, these have cool mechanics. You get into the game, and it's fucking Mario Kart Tour. The tracks have no design to them, and like basically there's no real challenge to the game. There's no real racing here. You're just holding A, and the cart basically turns the corners for you. And it's like, okay, so this isn't a game. And then also all these microtransactions. Like, you couldn't design a good game first and then put microtransactions in it. Like, at least Crash Team Racing had the integrity to do that. But come on. What's the point of this?
Yeah.
By the way, I have to ask, since you're a kart racer fan, I think Mario Kart is like the quintessential kart racer, right? But I honestly love Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing. I think it's a better racing game.
Which one?
Let's say Transformed. I think Transformed kind of like cleaned up all of that.
I like Transformed a lot. I don't like how the tracks transform so much. That's it. Everything else is a great arcade racer. I'd almost put it more so in the category of arcade racers than kart racers. Yeah. But I will say, have you played Hot Shot Racing?
I have not.
I've never heard of it.
Hot Shot Racing is by the same developers. That game is fucking amazing. That is one of the best kart racing
Sumo
games
Digital?
ever. Yes.
So is that like so before they got the license?
No, that came out in 2020.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It is one of my favorite games. It is so much fun. It's got this kind of like low poly, high poly art style that's become really popular in the post Y2K world. But yeah, no, it's a lot of fun.
Hot Shot Racing. Reminds me of Hot Shots Golf.
Can I
just the name, but
can I take this back to All-Star Racing Transformed real quick and point out that game like not only had like Sonic and like all the other Sega characters like Rio from Shenmue and stuff like that, and it also had fucking Danica Patrick and Simon from Yogscast and Wreck-It Ralph for some reason.
It's the weirdest crossovers.
Yes. And the
I remember there was Team Fortress.
there's
Team Fortress
where
characters.
It was like the Spy, the Pyro, and the Heavy, and they all had like, or at least Pyro didn't even have like his actual voice lines from the game.
So, like, part of me was upset with Transformed, actually.
Oh, really?
Because, like, in the game before it, they had Rio, and he was, like, driving his forklift, right?
Yeah.
And that's a good meme, because that's the thing you do in the game.
Yeah.
And then in the next one, he gets one of the greatest carts in the game. Like, come on. Driving an Outrun cabinet, like, you can't beat that. But really, it should have been Kiryu from Yakuza that drove the Outrun cabinet. Like,
I think
on.
so too. Or the Space Harrier cabinet. I think he should have gone with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, because he does that. And, like, sure, I guess that Rio does it too, but come on. I want some Yakuza in my Sonic All-Stars Racing.
Kiryu was not in that game, right? Because that seemed like such an easy, like...
No,
yeah.
that was...
Yeah.
I don't know why they didn't put him in.
I think the reason they didn't put him in is because he wasn't, like, known to the Western audience all that well at that point. Because, like, Yakuza 0 hadn't come out at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's probably why. But then also, like, okay, literally the only thing I know about Yakuza, aside from all the out-of-context things I've seen from it, is that the first game had a dub that was so awful that they opted to never dub another Yakuza game until recently.
Yeah.
It took them...
They had Mark
I think
Hamill
they dubbed
as,
it. I think they dubbed the third one, didn't they?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But they had Mark Hamill as Majima, which is just infamous.
Yeah, which is funny. And they also just punched up the dialogue with a whole bunch of swearing and stuff. My favorite, I got sent like a compilation of like scenes from that dub, and my favorite line is Kiryu going, "Hey, calm down," and then this other guy going in like this really whiny voice, "Fuck you! You are not coming in here, you fucking asshole!" And then Kiryu responds with, "Is this guy or something?"
I think
Man.
Yakuza definitely had its growing pains, especially in the West.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that it kind of like has some footing now.
Yeah, I don't know.
'Cause those are amazing games.
Yeah, I
sure.
really want to play them someday. I need money so I can buy it. Please buy commissions from me. I do them now. Contact
Just
me.
That's
start
what you
with,
guys need to do. Like,
start-
favorite, and subscribe
Like, favorite,
to everyone.
subscribe. Give me money.
There
Donate
you
to
go.
my
Whatever,
Ko-Fi.
whatever.
My Ko-Fi is linked in the description. Please give me all your money.
Yeah, look at all the links in the description and support.
Yes.
Free content, you know what I mean?
We're giving you this for free, you ungrateful bastards. Now give me your money.
And then we're gonna be writing scripts once this is done. So we're thinking about you constantly.
Yes.
Remember that.
Yes. Well, before we head out, have we played any games recently? Dead silence.
Okay. So, I mean, Stanley Parable came out, Ultra Deluxe came out not too long ago.
Another game I
So I
need
took
to
that
play.
opportunity. Took that opportunity to replay all of both Davey Reedon's games and man, I can't remember his name. But all of those are stuff that you should check out.
Nice.
But this isn't a game I haven't played recently, but I do want to shill it because that's who I am. The other day I got my plushie in for Subway Midnight. Have you guys heard of Subway Midnight?
Oh, I saw the
No.
I saw the Nitro Red video on it.
Is it
Oh,
a
Nitro
Subway
Red.
at midnight?
It's a little like a little spooky game. It's not exactly a horror game, but it's be spooky. It's kind of like an RPG game, but without RPG combat in the way that the puzzles are designed.
Okay.
And you just go walking around this train at any given time of the day, but you can't get one of the endings unless you play the game at midnight. So
Okay. So literally Subway midnight.
yeah.
What if
It
I'm
is-
a high schooler and I have school in the morning?
Just play it on
Well, you could lie, cheat, and steal by changing your time zone on your computer.
There you go. You guys heard it here first.
lie, cheat, and steal.
Or you can do what everybody else does, especially if they're Undertale fans, and watch a video on YouTube.
Oh, wow. Ouch.
Call out, post all the Undertale fans. I know what you did.
You're not even wrong.
Surprisingly, that's like, I don't know if that community has calmed down, but like that's probably, the closest I've gotten to that was like Live Alive, which is, you know, not really the same realm, but Toby Fox was inspired by it for like a few elements in that game. But
I'm excited.
I'm never doing an Undertale or Deltarune video. I'm sorry.
I am making the mistake of doing an Undertale video.
Yeah, you sent me the you sent me the script for it, and I was like, oh god, he's gonna die. It's gonna be.
I mean, I think like the fandom has grown up.
Yeah.
At this
I
point,
think they've grown
We'll
up,
see.
and they're like less. They're less unhinged, but
when did it come out? 2014.
yeah, something.
They're,
Like that.
Oh my God,
they're
that's
able to
almost
buy
10 years
games.
ago.
They don't have to use their mom's credit card anymore.
Yeah.
Grown up.
So yeah, it was like 8 years later. So if they were an 8-year-old when it came out, they're now a strapping 16-year-old. so
Got a job at Starbucks, so now
Yeah.
they can buy Y2K Postmodern RPG on all major platforms.
saving up money for their college experience.
Oh, I feel like it would be a shame if I came on this podcast and I didn't do the one meme that everybody loves.
Oh yeah.
Everybody loves this meme that I do. Robin, you know of it.
Oh.
Mentok doesn't.
Oh.
What is it?
I tend to do this in a lot of Discord calls. I started doing it when I was playing Halo with friends, but then I found out how good I was doing it, and then I started doing it in like the Indie Rumble Discord and even like the Y2K Discord. So everybody asks me to do this every now and then, but I can do a really good impression of the Halo announcer.
Oh yes, you can.
So
Okay.
Mentok, do you have anything you would want me to say
As the Halo announcer?
as the Halo announcer?
Man, you put me on the spot. How about you want to do a different language?
That might be difficult.
Okay, never mind. How about in the Halo announcer voice? I want you to read this comment left by this asshole from earlier. All right, hold on. Let me like share that image with you real quick.
Ricky, I'm gonna trust that you do a perfect Halo edit of this.
With like 360 no scopes, blasting music,
Yeah. Blasting the Halo.
MLG hair horns.
All right, almost there. Hold on. And it is now in the chat.
Cool.
Go ahead. I know it's a lot of text.
It is a lot of text. Whew. Okay. Can't really take anyone seriously that says they're a Sonic fan who hasn't read the comics. Those comics came out during Sonic's Golden Age. Ooh, Golden Age. That's a good one. Golden Age. There we go. And if you're not old enough to have read them back then, finding out there's a Sonic comic with years of material to read seems like something that would thrill any fan.
Just throw a
So,
blood
yeah.
gulch at the end.
Blood Gulch.
There you
so
go.
Good.
Featuring Robin and Mentok.
I feel like that's a good cap to the podcast today.
Yeah, that's all right.
We've come, you know, it's good that we came full circle with that comment too. That has made me feel a lot better today. Just totally roasting this guy without him knowing.
Yes.
It's always great.
Also, he has a My Little Pony profile pic. And not to say that I'm criticizing anyone into that series, but
I'll criticize.
I'm gonna go.
You can put all
I
that
wonder-
hatred onto me. I love it. we gotta stoke all the flames. Fuck Undertale fans. Fuck My Little Pony fans. Fuck Homestuck fans. Five Nights at Freddy's fans. Friday Night Funkin' fans. Who else can we burn bridges with today?
Pokemon fans.
Pokemon fans. Fuck Pokemon fans. Anime fans, you suck, but you already know you suck.
Fire Emblem, you guys have too many characters in Smash.
Smash fans, garbage. Get rid of them. Smash
The most
shouldn't be
toxic
alive
communities.
anymore.
And then, like, not last but not least, Sonic fans, all of you can go to hell. Cool. We got everybody.
Now that we're successfully canceled on Twitter, what do you guys want to do?
Hey, like, that means that we're going to get the most views with this
We're gonna
podcast
get
alone.
the most views, and we can all celebrate by going to Five Guys
Or Olive Garden.
or Olive Garden.
Three guys going to Five Guys. Go get kicked out of the Applebee's.
Let's go get kicked out of Applebee's.
All right, Robin. Take us home.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening to today's episode of Whatever, Whenever, episode 27, I believe. Yes. Episode 27.
27?
Is it 27?
I think it's 20
It's 26.
I think it's 26, bruv.
I think it's 26. It's 26. Never mind. I can't count.
Oh, my God.
We're losing count.
Hellkrai, our special guest for this time only.
Yes.
Thanks for joining. You're welcome back to the podcast at any
You're
time.
welcome anytime. You just won't be as special.
Whenever.
Yeah, you're just
And
going to
we
be
talk
a
about
normie
whatever
at that
then.
But yes, as always, I'm Robin,
And this is Mentok.
and we will see you all later.
Peace.